Welcome to another episode of Lifelong Learner. This is the Out of Class edition with Ben, Janesh, and Matt. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Lifelong Learner. Welcome, Matt. Welcome, Ben. How are we all doing?
Right, boys. Really good to see you. Really good.
Good morning.
Really good. Hey, let's start with Matty. Matty, what is going on in your world, mate? What is happening?
Well, it's 5:45 a.m.
Yeah.
So I'm awake and I'm chatting with you guys, which is exciting. But where do we start? I just moved into a new house. So Kat and I have been searching for a place. So that's exciting news. We have a new place.
Are you in the new place? Because that couch and the wall looks the same.
My place. This is the
Right.
place that, not a lot of time or energy has gone into the interior decor, Ben. But the new place has lots. So we've just been renovating, we've landscaping, and we've got furniture arriving in the next probably 3-4 days. So then we'll have a new place. That's been a lot. And moving the dog, which I'm a little bit nervous about. The dog's lived here for the last 4 years. So I need her to love the new place.
Mate,
And
is it a bit of a
then-
distance? Is it like a different? No.
No,
How
that's the
far is it?
problem.
Yeah.
Not far enough. I feel like if it was further, it would be better. It's only like a kilometer away. Maybe
You're going to
maybe
just find a way back to this neighborhood.
that's my concern.
They say with cats, and this has got to have no truth in it whatsoever, but they say with cats that you put butter on their paws when you shift them.
Really?
You put
Why?
butter on their paws.
What does the butter
That's-
do?
I don't know. Maybe they lick the butter and it gets rid of the scent of the old place off their feet. I don't know. But you put butter on their paws.
Well, she's a dog. So firstly, when Kat comes home and I'm buttering the dog's paws, and she says, "What are you doing?" I said, "Ben told me that apparently with cats you butter their paws when you move them from
I
one
don't,
of
I don't know.
I was
I don't,
talking about cat.
the...
Not,
Well, that's what we're doing. I'm buttering her up, getting her a new place, nice backyard. Oh, but it's actually been awesome just to watch her come alive. So, like, she's very excited to have her own space. So that's a big win.
This is cat, not the dog.
And yeah, this is my girlfriend for anyone on the podcast who isn't aware. Her name is Kathleen. We call her Kat. They're the two girls in my life, the dog and Kat. And we've got to keep them both happy. So that's a big win.
Can I ask, is this a rental or did you buy it or what's the go?
2-year lease, but we only need it for a year. The plan is have it for a year. And in the agreement, we can sublease. So we can rent it out for the second year. So we're pretty happy with that. And generally, if you deck it out and make it quite nice, you can bump the price up a little bit. So we'll be happy with that. And
can I ask, just while we're on that, is it in a complex? Is it like a regular Lombokan house?
Lombokan house.
Lombokian, maybe that's the term. It's how do I describe it? It's the community that lives there was one family. So I guess great grandpa owned the land, and then he gave little portions of it to each of his grandkids. So there's maybe there's 35 or 40 traditional owners, I guess. And what they've done is, they used to be rice and corn farmers, and they've basically turned each one of their little lots into a local style, quite nice, but very contained small house. And they're fundamentally building their own little suburb. So they take your rent for 1, 2, 4, 5 years, and then they take a large portion of that and then build the house. And then they're slowly, systematically, each family's building 1 to 2 to 3, depending on how much space they have, houses on their land. And the money that I guess after a couple of years or 3 years, then once they've built the house and they paid it off, then they're living off the rent as opposed to being farmers. And so this community is actually quite nice. It's about maybe 100 meters off the main road out of town. So a K further away from town. So it's a little bit quieter, and it's an old rice paddy area. It is also a building site, but there's probably 12, maybe 13 houses now that are owned by French, Australian, New Zealand. I think there's a South African there, a German, different kind of, different expats. And then this really lovely, big kind of Indonesian family. It's split into maybe 15 families. So the couple we got the land off are 29 years old. One works in a hotel, Anjas and Devi, and they've just got a 3-month-old child, and they're lovely. It's their first home, and so we're renting off them.
Nice.
Yeah, it's similar actually to Australia, but when you see it, you'd be like, yeah, build quality is different. It's kind of like the beginnings of development, I guess.
Capitalism is alive in Lombok.
Right, talking about build quality, how are you going with finding your people, your person to build? Is there
Good question.
Yes. And we haven't touched on it a little bit. So just wondering, it's like you told us in January you were design. Now we're April. Is there a builder? Have they broken ground?
We have a meeting today, so it's 5:30. I met with the builder, and I guess we'd call him the what's Pedro? So there's Pedro and Doyok, two very good friends of Bobby. They come from the same village. Doyok is the contractor. Pedro is his right-hand man, which I guess we would call foreman, maybe the guy that oversees everything. We met yesterday. The meeting with the caduce, which is, I guess, your local kind of mayor, happens today to ask permission to build on the land. So we'll be starting in the next week. Soil will be coming in. So we start earthworks, building perimeters, and digging foundations in the next week. But we need to,
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big step. That's awesome.
That's awesome.
It's a big step. We're nervous because how this conversation goes today with the caduce determines a lot, because they're going to demand probably 30% of the labouring team comes from the local village. They're going to want most of the initial resources come from the local village. So sand, concrete, trucks. So now my kind of guys will go in and they're going to meet. There's some kind of like request for permission to build in the area. There's going to be some kind of gift discussion around prices and stuff.
So is that like a council and a bribe? That's what it sounds like.
I think I avoid the term bribe. I think it's a fee for the
you said gift before, so
gift or fee, or what's another word? I can't think right now. It's very early, but
I didn't know the Australian Labor Party was in Lombok.
yeah. Just take a clip at each step, don't they, Ben?
Yeah.
But fundamentally, as far as I can understand, like the really funny thing and the challenging thing is that the guy that I'm working with speaks no English. My Bobby speaks some English, and then the foreman speaks a little bit more English, and then there's me. So
what could go wrong?
Yeah.
It
sounds like an episode out of Faulty Towers to me.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So there's a whole lot of just trying to understand. I'm becoming the master of body language and then reflecting back what I'm hearing and trying to work everything out.
Is the plans in English?
The plans are in English and they're pictures. So we all agree.
But the measurements is that
are numbers, and numbers and pictures are
universal.
So that's
numbers aren't universal.
Well,
color's not. You might end up with a great big pink.
Yeah,
Like-
numbers aren't
But
they? They
here's
got
the-
their own numbers, like
here's
their
the
version
thing
of
that-
1 or 2.
I was a bit curious trying to decode what Pedro said last night. He said, so before we start, there'll be some kind of sacrifice. And I said, am I hearing this right? What do you mean sacrifice? He's like, we have to sacrifice a chicken. I'm like, oh, okay. Do I need to pick the chicken or you're going to take care of that? So there's some kind of, some kind of blessing that needs to take place, some kind of sacrifice, and then you get permission. And so they'll have that meeting today. So fingers crossed it goes really well. Fingers crossed that they can communicate really well and articulate that we really, really want to not be charged a shitload to build there so that we can build it. And I said, can you please explain to them that if the price is good, we can build and then we'll be able to employ lots of people. If the price is bad, we won't be able to afford to build and no one gets employed.
What happens to the chicken after? Do you eat it?
Mate,
I
it's
think-
dead. Not much happens. The chicken doesn't do much more after that.
Yeah, I know, but what are you going to do with the chicken?
I don't know. I don't know what happens with the chicken.
I think you have to eat pieces of it raw. I think that's, if I remember rightly,
This is not an episode of Liver King, is it, boys?
you got to bleed the chicken out and drink the
Mhm.
blood of the chicken. I'm pretty sure that's what happens.
Mm.
I'm not
How,
sure what happens.
how does
but
that
I'll
sit
let you
with?
know.
How does that sit with Kat? Which she's very
Vegan.
not vegan, like animal, not what's like pro animal feelings, anti cruelty.
We all are.
We
I
are.
am.
We are. We
Yeah, man.
all are.
Pro environment, pro
Yes.
animals.
Did you leave the sacrifice part out?
She's been there for all the meetings.
All the
Yeah.
sacrifices, I thought you were going to say.
Yeah. She's been part of all the sacrifices. There's a lot of moments where I think Kat is uncomfortable. That might have been one of them. But we just navigate it, respect local cultures as best we can, try and interpret what's going on.
Mm.
But yeah,
Mm.
so yesterday was a big moment, and we've sort of locked, we've locked these guys in at, I guess, Bobby's request as well, and you can see Bobby is kind of fired up. So yeah, for phase one, we're going to trial these guys. If it goes really well, we get really great retaining walls, we get great infrastructure, they're good at solving problems, then we'll look at phase two. So I'm trying to just compartmentalize things so that we're not signing up to the whole thing. So yeah, today, send out positive vibes for us boys, and then tomorrow we'll have a meeting and work out prices. I'm going to be calculating costs tomorrow,
Yeah, nice.
and hopefully trucks will be coming in the next week.
Oh,
That's
that's
cool.
awesome. So listeners, viewers would have seen it, but Ben, while Matt was talking, was reaching and adjusting something, which looked like maybe your foot. What's been happening in your world, Ben?
Nothing. Well, what is happening? There's so much exciting things happening.
Yes, tell us.
There's three things that I'm interested in right now, if I'm going to be honest.
We'll see if he says those three things.
Specifically.
The three things. Well, as our listeners know, or may not know, right? 20-ish years ago, fell out of a palm tree, broke my left foot. Life-changing, one of those sliding door, life-changing. My whole life changed as a result of breaking my left foot when I was away.
Fell or jumped?
Well, I was falling and then I jumped at the last bit to try and make it look more like I was jumping. And broke my left foot, Fiji. Anyway, that was 20 years ago. Been a long journey. Then, as most of the listeners know, in October last year, my Rhodesian Ridgeback ran into the back of my leg and broke that same ankle again. Broke a couple of bones in the ankle, tore all the ligaments, messy.
Oh.
But by kind of mid-Jan,
hold on. Just I want to add a bit of detail in that little section. How was your recovery protocol during that break from after Bromley broke it?
Good. It was really good. I made sure I kept my foot moving, and yeah, I decided against the best advice to minimize the wearing of a moon boot.
From
And
multiple people, not just the doctor. From I think, I believe your niece, who's what is she?
um, she is a
Podiatrist, maybe? No, podiatrist.
no, but I've got a podiatrist mate, and many people said, but you know what? I don't know what they're talking about, because it is really important when you've got damaged ligaments to keep moving, because I paid like a 10, 15-year price from my last injury. But
Range
not
of movement. So it
But
doesn't
mate, I was
seize
back.
up.
I was back, and literally 2 weeks ago, I was running a machine. I in fact competed in a few events just recently, and I had some friends in that were 20 years younger than me, and I whipped their ass. Um,
What were their
so
names?
not
Just
to
so
mention
that
anyone's
on the
names for a
record.
box podcast. Um, so mate, amazing. Anyway, on Friday, I was at the gym getting jacked. I was doing a leg workout, and the leg machines only had big 20-kilo plates, because no one puts a 5 kilo on. So anyway, big 20-kilo plates. But the rack
No one refers to them as big 20-kilo weights, man. That's where you start to lose credibility. Just 20 kilos.
Yeah, 20 kilos, that's right.
Just plates, I think you would refer to them as. Just
But to
plates.
put them away, you got to put them away higher on this pin that's kind of attached to the rack, where you load your plates on, and it's a bit higher up. It's about 1.5 meters up. And to be honest, just as I'd finished that set, my headphones stopped working. Somehow, which no one ever does, but anyway, this morning we decided to have like an 8 people SMS, texting chat group, so every time someone texts, the phone's going ding. So I'm trying to do leg workout. I got ding, 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 ding. Everyone's texting. My music stops in my headphones. And so I'm kind of thinking, I've got to get off this chat because it's driving me mad. I've got to get these headphones back working again. And I've got to hang this plate up. And the machine is right next to a wall. So when you got to put the plate back, you're kind of resting your back almost against the wall to kind of get the plate back onto the pin. Anyway, I thought I'd put it on. I don't know. It was just like I timed out for a second. It actually wasn't on at all.
Oh no.
And I just let
at
go.
all.
I just let go of it, and it just dropped straight down like a guillotine, straight up onto the top of my foot. And I didn't so much feel it, I heard it. So think of it like last time you snapped like a brittle branch or twig, and you hear that crack, that distinct crack. And I just heard this crack from my foot. Then I felt the pain, and I went, oh. And there's a couple of people in the gym right next to me, and they go, mate, are you all right? I go, no, not all right. Not all right. Damn it. Vietnam. Going to Vietnam in 3 weeks. Anyway, so I fractured 3 metatarsals. So metatarsals are if you think of the back of your hand, those bones across the back of your hand that make up most of your hand. I fractured 3 of those. One of them has got multiple fractures in it. And so, yeah, the rest is history. So that was Friday. So
On this Friday.
back on crutches.
Wow.
Are they all broken, fractured in place, or are some out of? Okay, that's something.
Yeah. So, and look, they can heal pretty quick. So
if you keep them still, Matt.
Yeah, I'm doing pretty well, Janesh. I'm doing pretty well.
I
got to show you.
It's you're in no cast, no boot, no nothing at the moment.
Nah, you don't even know.
I did get Michelle. I got Michelle to buy me these.
Oh God.
Okay.
Why?
Look at those.
Why?
They are seriously fashionable.
Horrible.
So for the listeners,
but they're Velcro.
Full-on Velcro grandpa shoes that you get at Kmart. I think they were $9.99. And
wow.
And I've cut the top of it so as I can get my foot.
This is still pretty swollen.
Yeah, it's quite swollen.
Yeah.
So, so instead of a moon boot, Ben has gone to Kmart. He's bought the cheapest grandpa shoe he can, and then
And
he's
modified it.
converted it into a. Wow.
Wow.
Correct.
So
Amazing.
rewind.
just-
So you're going to Vietnam in a few weeks.
Yeah, we were meant to go to Vietnam.
But
What do you
hang
mean
on,
meant to? Not going
hang on.
anymore.
Before we
Cancelled.
go there, we got to go back. We got to go back. We got to go back. I'm just picturing that from the perspective of someone else in the gym. They just watched Ben get up from his thing, frustrated with the music or something going on. I've watched him pick up a plate and drop it on his foot. Fundamentally, that's what's happened. Correct?
Correct, Monday.
Is there CCTV footage in your gym?
Oh, that would be great.
Can we please access that?
I've got to get the footage.
Get the footage, Ben. Next podcast, can we please stream the footage of you
That's a great.
committing
that's so good, Matty.
momentum
So good. I gotta get that.
suicide?
They've got cameras everywhere. It's an Anytime Fitness, and they have cameras everywhere.
That's great. That is awesome.
Yeah, I'm right on that. But
That
mate,
is
there was two
wild.
things that went in through my mind. First of all, Vietnam, and then very shortly, very quickly, within a microsecond after, who's going to ring Michelle and tell her?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why I thought you're not wearing a moon boot, that you've just tried to do the whole I'm
Like,
fine thing.
who's
I just
gonna-
need
who's
need
gonna
a new
tell
pair of
Mich-
shoes.
Yeah.
He hasn't told Michelle yet.
yeah.
Who's going to tell Michelle you're not going to Vietnam, or who's going to tell Michelle that you're injured?
Yes, all of the above. All of the above.
But you
So-
weren't like
That's a
rushed
foot.
to a hospital or an ambulance or anything like that.
No, but I was talking to some members, and they said, "Oh, look, you're the guy. We heard that there was going to be an ambulance coming, and I wasn't going to do an ambulance, mate. Although the green whistle, I would have liked a little bit of green whistle action.
That pain would have been intense. Did you go to the hospital straight after?
No, I just got Michelle to take me to radiology and had an X-rayed and
What did the
self-management.
so what did they say? How long for it to
Oh, look, 3 weeks. I could be potentially putting a little bit of weight on it, like just in a moon boot, and then 6 weeks.
Mate, I'm not a doctor, but maybe
No,
the
you
moon.
are not.
I
Correct.
know, but maybe the moon boot might speed up your recovery.
Yeah.
Just
But
maybe.
he wants
keeping it-
mobility?
Yeah, but keeping it still, so just till the bones fuse a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you what, I'll give it a go today. I have been going to the gym, so I should actually wear it to the gym.
So you don't hit it again.
Well,
do.
yeah, I don't know whether it offer me much protection, but yeah.
You cannot afford to do that again, ever.
No.
That's a one-time deal.
No. So
Wait, isn't it
in-
isn't it interesting? It's the same foot.
yeah.
You got a 50-50 chance. Why wasn't it the other foot?
Oh,
Why is it?
someone said to me yesterday, how are you feeling about it? And
Yeah.
I go, if I was to put it into a word, I'd say unbelievable. Like it's almost not believable.
It really, it's like it's past the point of coincidence,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
I said to
Where
the guy at the gym,
constant
I said,
grief.
mate, how often does this happen? He goes, mate, I've owned a gym for 20 years.
I've never seen someone
And
throw
no
a
one's
weight on their
ever-
own foot.
No one's ever broken their foot.
That's why in every gym it says, "Please wear appropriate footwear."
Yeah.
I'm gonna
mate,
I'm gonna send you a picture of the appropriate footwear everyone wears at my gym, and
Oh,
no one's broken a foot.
yeah, I'm wearing steel capped. I'm going steel capped from now on. So
I
it's
want to understand the psychology. Is there some kind of
Mhm.
internal self-sabotaging left foot thing going on here? Like, because I've had the same thing. Mine's my left foot too, actually. Are you right-handed?
mm,
Mhm.
Someone who's smarter than us needs to work out whether there's something going on here. Because
Mm.
I've had left ankle, same thing. When I hurt my ankle, it's been always the left leg ever since I had a massive roll of an ankle. Took me a year and a half, maybe 2.5 years really to get back with no pain. And then same thing, every single time I've rolled the left ankle.
there's a saying I have, that things happen for a reason,
I like that
or
saying.
or do we put a reason to things that happen?
Mm.
Yeah, I think the second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we live in a meaningless world that we're always putting meaning
Me
to.
into it.
Yeah.
And
so-
it's just I dropped a weight on my left foot. It
Mm.
could have been my right. It could have not been any foot. So imagine if I dropped it and I pulled my foot out of the way and it didn't hit my foot. What meaning are you going to put to that?
Intelligence.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's me. So Maddie, Lombok, Benny, broken foot, and Janesh, mate.
Well,
you
hold on. I got a
fresh
question.
boat.
Yeah, I am fresh off a boat, fresh off a plane. But I
Yeah.
got a question for you. With your foot. So you've been through the foot injury multiple times, right?
Mhm.
What are you looking at it differently this time? Like in terms of the recovery point, like it's done, right? But the recovery point, and sometimes the recovery point causes you like grief. Going, I just want to, body's going good. I want to walk. I want to run. All that. Are you looking at it differently this time?
I'm probably a little calmer about it. I'm a little more, like it was messy last time. And in 3 months, I was back running. So, like, it's not as messy, I think, this time. The metatarsals should be, there's no ligament damage. So, I think I'm optimistic is not the word, but I'm a little calmer about it. And also, well, mate, it was only 6 months ago I was on crutches and so it feels like I'm back doing I'm good at it. I'm good at it. Mate, I can carry a plate of food, a bowl of cereal. I can carry a cup of tea on with my crutches. What you do is you put the left one forward, and then you sort of swing and you keep the crutch under here and it sort of swings forward and lands, and then you lean on it with your cup of tea and you swing forward and you land. Mate, I can carry a cup of tea from one side of the house to the other. I'm good. I'm good at it.
Mate,
So
you can keep going to the gym and just get jacked in every other location as well.
I'm going to find an event for you on crutches racing. There's got to be something out there.
Mate, I've been to the gym every day since. So got to keep the dream alive. Got to keep that dream alive. So just slippery slope. Slippery slope. Mate, tell us, Texas.
Yeah, so I was in Texas for a week, which is great for a good friend's wedding, Andrew. And so Andrew and I worked at Lacoste together back in our 20s at Chadstone Shopping Centre while we were at uni, which is good fun. And Andrew actually flew over for our wedding in the States. So Andrew and Alina now live in Germany. Alina's grew up in Texas, but she's half German, half American. So flew over, and I was away for a week. And those that traveled from Australia to the States, you land on the same day that you leave, but you lose a day on your way back. So really only in the country for like 5.5 days. So leave
Question.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Question straight away. We're going to do the questioning here, Janesh. Okay.
Yeah.
Firstly,
First
5
question.
days on land because you lose the day.
Yes.
Okay. So you wanted to maximize your time.
Yes.
And there was, I believe, quite a bit of commuting. You had to cover a lot of ground.
Yes.
Is that why you rented an extremely powerful muscle car, or was that an accident? And what kind of car did you rent?
It wasn't an accident. The last few times, oh no, last few times, one other time I did opt for the mystery car, and I I got very lucky. This time I did not opt for a mystery car. I opted for an impractical car that I will never do if I had the family with me. So I was like, well, I'm gonna have some fun on this trip. So yeah, I rented a Dodge Challenger, so a 5.7 liter V8, which just purred. which is great.
Any run-ins with the law?
No. I was going to say not with the car, but no, not at all this trip. I was just trying to really think that through. No, it was yeah, run law free, which was great, So no, it was good. We left Wednesday
So that was a
morning.
new model Dodge Challenger, yeah?
Yeah.
And was it a convertible or no?
No, not a convertible. So the last few
What colour
times
was
I've done a convertible. 2022.
What color?
I think I sent you a photo. It was like that maroon color,
Reddy
like that
color.
maroony red
Oh,
color.
I didn't get the picture.
Ah, I'll send it to you.
Yeah, nice.
So it was no, look at the group chat, the one that you sent your foot in. It's in there.
It looked super tough. Was it a manual? Tell me it was a manual. If you tell me it's an automatic, I'm going to be very, very upset with you.
They don't do manuals over there, mate. They don't do manuals. So
What do you mean they don't do manuals?
they had paddles. It was fast enough. I didn't need any more. So no, it was good. So we did. It was go go go. It was landed there at 6 p.m. After a bit of a layover in San Fran, and then went straight to the Bucks party. I went to the apartment, showered, changed, straight to the Bucks party. They had started earlier. Got up with them, and the next day we left the city and checked into where we were staying for the majority of the stay, so closer to the wedding venue. And there was a crayfish boil. So the maid of honors put on a crayfish boil. So not your big crayfish for those in Australia. Think about like your little yabbies, but like 30 kilos of them, right? Like in this
30
big,
kilos.
yeah.
Wow.
But there was a lot of people. So a lot of so they was mainly hosting like the international family and international guests like from Berlin as well. So it was good. It was great. And they just bought it and they pour it out on this table. And it's like a big community feast. Like no one's sitting down. Everyone's around this long table, like eating with their hands and chatting, which was awesome. So that was really good.
Tearing little lobsters apart.
Say it again.
Tearing little crayfish apart.
Yeah. So it was really good. It was really good.
You could do that with chickens, Matt, just as a side note.
Chickens.
Similar process. I automatically think of The Simpsons. I don't know if you guys remember that, where they eat the lobster. Pinchy.
Yeah. So no, that was good. And then they took us. They did a party bus to the rodeo. So they took us to this rodeo and rodeo out in Fort Worth, and it's epic indoor stadium, and which was nice, which was yeah, really cool actually. Really cool. And then wedding day. And then wedding day was at Alina's family home, and they built like everything. Like absolutely epic. All right. From the altar to the steps that her dad walked her down the aisle to everything. And some of the detail was just like, yeah, he's her dad Dan is if you're listening, he's a very, very talented man. And super intricate, like woodwork through stuff, which is cool. Absolutely beautiful. So the wedding was at their family ranch, which was awesome. So
Not temporary stuff. You say he built it for the wedding, or he built the house. The house was
was there. The house was beautiful, but they built everything, like the bar, in the forest section where the wedding was, like the gates that you walked in, welded that like because Andrew and Alina, so it was like this A and A symbol, and then the whole like altar, this massive like deck, and the balustrades of it was like, if you think of like twigs and branches like intertwined and put in, right? And if you've ever done that, I've done it on a small, tiny scale for a little cubby. You have to drill each individual one, right? And so this deck's probably like, I reckon 5 meters by 4 meters, right? So this thing's huge, and it's like, and a big arch over the top, and yeah, epic, absolutely. And all these lights were strung up, so absolutely phenomenal. So a beautiful wedding, and then the next day was recovery at Andrew's parents kind of hosted at their place, like their Airbnb, and this epic, like huge Texan like house, like just stupid.
So
and
have they got, you know, I guess just for context, have they got lots of coin, or is this easy to achieve in Texas? Do you know, like, or is this how the houses are? And is it a ranch or is it a farm? Like, yeah, we have farms in Australia.
It's a great question.
Matt,
So
you go to someone's farm.
where Andrew's family hosted the next day, they're from Australia, so they were in an Airbnb. So Alina is a house, like, but all farms there are called a ranch.
Oh, they are. Okay.
Yeah. So they had mainly horses on there. So
How
they're
many
retired now.
acres is it?
It's a great question. No idea.
Big? Yeah.
Big-ish.
Big-ish.
So
Do they look like our farms, or do they
They-
look like a farm, or do they look like a ranch? You know what I mean?
the
I haven't been to America. And so I guess-
the house is like you think about like an old school
Big wooden beams.
exposed house. Like the house is like it's nice. It's just like all exposed, like ceilings and loft ceilings, and they added on to the house themselves, and it was that part's like different. Like you see here at farms, you see a relatively normal house, right? Commercially normal house, where all their say farmhouses or ranch houses are very unique. Very like each one's very unique. It wouldn't be like an estate house, so to speak. Which gives it its character.
They do
Which
a
is
lot of timber there, don't they?
a
lot of
lot
There's a
of
great
timber.
book, by the way, for our listeners. Highly recommend it. If you're just wanting a great holiday read, it's called Home by Bill Bryson.
What's it
And he
about?
explores the from cave dwellings to where we are now, the building of these things we call homes, and how they've evolved over the years, and how each different country has a different version of what a home is. He talks about how windows were created, and toilets, and and why toilets were called closets. You got the wash closet, I think it's called, or something. Just a super fascinating book. But what he does, he talks about America has heaps of timber. And so in America, you find timber homes. The UK's got lots of stone. So you find lots of stone homes.
Same in Canada. They have so much pine and timber. Like, it's mind blowing. Because I was looking for our project, I'm a bit out of wood, and it's quite expensive. And then I look in Canada, I'm like, oh my God, like their beams are like this wide, and they're like 50, 60 feet long. And I'm like, that is thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
America.
And so again, I guess in Lombok, and I see this in Bali, they do a lot of concrete stuff because they use the volcanic rock.
And you see, it's so true. And you see the iconic island style roofs made out of grass. That's
Grass
because they
thatching.
have so much thatched grass. Like, it just makes sense, right? Either use the resources around you.
Sorry, Janesh, mate. Sounds epic.
No, it was good. It was good. And minor detail, which I only learnt a week before flying, that I booked
I'm
my
asking
flights.
that question. Don't worry.
I booked flights relatively quickly. What I mean quickly, I was looking, and then I go, you leave on this date. Yeah, you miss a day, and then you land on this day, right? This is my return flight. Didn't really think much of it. And on a phone call with some of the guys that we were staying with the week before, and he goes, what time are you leaving Dallas to San Francisco? And I look at that, it's early. And I was like, that doesn't make sense, because the flight's always usually out of the US is in the afternoon, or if you're flying out of the West Coast, it's quite late, like between 9 and 11 p.m., right? I was like, that's weird. I'm like, I'm in San Francisco at 7 a.m. I had a layover from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. Minor detail, didn't realize that the week before. There was the total eclipse happening in Texas, and I was like, do I change it? Do I not? I'm glad
you change it.
I didn't change it, because they were expecting 500,000 people to come in there, and the airport was going to be chaos. And I was like, what's it? The province in Canada, right by the Niagara Falls, declared a state of emergency on that day because they're expecting between 2 and 3 million people to turn up
What to
or
see?
to see the total eclipse. It's like once in 140 years, right? So, so I was glad I was out of there. However, I had a lot of time in San Francisco, and I walked a lot. Like,
Yeah, I'm less interested about the walking and more interested about the 150-year event that people are flying from all over the world to go see.
Didn't it happen everywhere on Earth?
No, because the total eclipse only
eclipse, like,
happens in a
a
slither
certain of a
all the way
region.
across
Right.
America,
Yeah.
and it was a big deal. It was a very
Yeah,
big deal.
it was a
and
big
I texted Janesh and said, "Oh, you're there for the eclipse?" No,
Nah.
I leave a couple hours before that.
Nah. If I was there the next day, yeah, sure. But I was like, I'm not changing my flights for that. It was a bit of chaos, and I was like,
But
don't
you
want
got
to
to
be
see San Francisco.
San Francisco. Yeah, I did. I walked 32 kilometers. It was lots of hills in San Francisco, lots of hills. Needless to say, I slept really well on the way home. So it was good. And I think in line with what we were saying a couple of weeks ago, like space, even though it seemed action packed, it was very much my takeaway would be the space within the space within the structure. Each morning was able to go for a run or a walk and into town and chat to locals and go get a coffee at the local place. And and that was neat because it was space. There was no, you had a set thing at 4 o'clock to be to, but in the morning it was like, all right, what are we doing today? So what are some of your two takeaways in the current couple of weeks?
Well, mate, my
Danny.
takeaway is, and I often think about this with you in particular, and I do with Maddie as well, actually, because you guys are 20 years younger than me. 20 years.
20 years.
Like, that's a long time different.
Do you have a filter on? It doesn't
Well,
look.
He's
I-
using.
for the viewers,
I shared my filter, right? He's looking very, very dapper.
It looks
for the
20 years younger.
for the viewers, you probably wouldn't pick it, but 20 years. And what I love is the energy, the drive, the push, the flexibility that you guys have in your youth, in your 30s, that it just isn't quite there in your 50s. The ability to go, okay, I'm going to get on a plane. I'm just going to get on a plane tomorrow. Let me see if I can find a flight. Yep, got a flight. Boom, booked. On the plane. I'm going to go for 5.5 days to America. Like, it just makes my heart race just thinking about it. And I'm going to fly back again and go back to work the next day. And it's like, whoa. I think it's really powerful, and it's something that you don't appreciate when you're that age. You don't understand that you've got that flexibility at that age. And yeah, I just think it's really, really cool. So good on you, boys.
Thank you. Maddie, takeaway?
Takeaway. Sometimes you just gotta breathe and trust the process. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a lot of, it's a hard story to tell. And the moment you tell it, I'm talking about my story, people don't get it. And a lot of people got a lot of opinions. And I know I've got a lot of information coming my way from different people, particularly when I share some of the decisions I'm making. But something in me says, take a deep breath. Let's go, baby. See what happens.
Right, exciting times. As always, fellas, it's always been a pleasure. Thanks for the conversation, and listeners, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Lifelong Learner.
See you guys. Cheers.
There you go.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to another episode of Lifelong Learner. If you like this episode and want to know more and hear other episodes, head over to lifelonglearnerpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter, where you'll be the first to know when new podcast episodes come out. And if you want to say hello, tell us a joke, or ask us a question, send us an email at hello@lifelonglearnerpodcast.com. Thanks again.